The poison tea, how President Traore outsmarted his enemies. It all began with something small. A simple teacup. Not golden, not decorated with jewels. Just a plain cream-colored cup, the kind found in every meeting room across Africa. The kind that speaks of hospitality. The kind that promises peace. Yet this time, it almost promised death. President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso had traveled to a military base just outside Ouagadougou. The sun was hot, the air heavy, but under the shade of a large mango tree, it was cooler, almost pleasant. A group of senior officers sat with him, men he had fought beside, men he had trusted for years. The meeting was ordinary, or so it seemed. No television cameras. No grand parade. Just a simple discussion about troop movements for a coming operation in the east. As the talks unfolded, a young soldier moved among them, carrying a tray of tea. The cups were warm, the smell of spiced tea rising into the humid afternoon air. President Traoré accepted his cup with a smile. It was habit. It was courtesy. It was tradition. But something in him stirred, a quiet discomfort that he could not easily dismiss. The young man serving the tea was unfamiliar. His movements were careful, too careful. His eyes avoided contact. Across the circle, Colonel Yaya Konet raised his cup quickly, took a large sip, and spoke with a forced cheerfulness. "Please, Mr. President," he said, smiling too broadly, "the tea is fresh. You must taste it." Traoré returned the smile, but his hand froze. He did not lift the cup to his lips. Instead, he simply held it, feeling the slight tremble in his fingers that no one else noticed. Earlier that morning, a simple note had been placed on his desk. No official seal. No explanation. Only 6 words, written in a hurried hand: "Watch your tea today. Trust will be tested." He had not shared the warning with anyone. He had simply tucked it into his pocket and carried on. Now, sitting under the mango tree, the words echoed in his mind. He set the cup gently on the small wooden table beside him. The chatter among the officers faltered. The wind shifted slightly. The leaves above rustled in a way that seemed almost too loud for the stillness of the moment. Traoré spoke softly to an aide standing behind him. "Drink from my cup." The aide, startled but obedient, stepped forward. As his hand moved towards the cup, Colonel Konet suddenly spoke, his voice sharp and nervous. "No. No need, Mr. President. Let us not mix cups. For hygiene reasons, you understand." Traoré turned his gaze to the colonel. His smile was polite, but his eyes were cold. "Hygiene, Colonel. Or something else?" The circle of officers went utterly silent. You could hear the buzz of distant insects. Even the soldiers at the perimeter, standing at attention, seemed to feel the change in the air. Without raising his voice, Traoré lifted the small walkie-talkie clipped to his belt. "Bring him." 2 soldiers appeared, almost melting from the shadows. Between them, they escorted the young tea server, now handcuffed, his face pale with fear. From his boot, they pulled a small vial, barely the size of a thumb, filled with a clear liquid. The label was simple: VXT42. A deadly neurotoxin. Colorless. Tasteless. Lethal within minutes. Traoré stood, brushing dust from his trousers. He fixed Colonel Konet with a look that was harder than steel. "You arranged this meeting," he said quietly. "You arranged the tea. You encouraged me to drink fast." Konet rose to his feet, stammering, his face now grey. This is madness. I would never, Mr. President." Captain Zongo, the silent hawk at Traoré's side, moved swiftly. Before Konet could say another word, he was surrounded, disarmed, and led away without resistance. The lion had seen the trap and refused to step into it. Back at the presidential palace, deep within its most secure wing, Colonel Konet was questioned. He denied everything. He spoke of loyalty. He spoke of misunderstandings. He wept. But the evidence was undeniable. In the young server's belongings, the intelligence officers found a small black notebook. Inside, coded names, strange numbers, unexplained payments. And one name that appeared again and again, Chacal. The Jackal. President Traore did not need to ask who that was. 3 months earlier, during a classified operation, his intelligence service had intercepted whispers about a figure known only as the Jackal, linked to foreign agencies, skilled in sabotage, expert at buying traitors. This betrayal was not personal. It was bigger. It was international. That night, Traore convened an emergency meeting. No ministers. No public officials. Only warriors he trusted with his life. Captain Zongo. 2 senior counterintelligence officers. 1 cyber warfare expert who had helped uncover the last coup attempt. They gathered in a hidden war room beneath the palace. Zongo placed the notebook on the steel table, opening it to the coded pages. "We are not hunting a snake," he said. "We are hunting a wolf in human skin." Phone records were pulled. Bank wires traced. Silent alarms set. Within hours, a signal was found, a burner phone, active only once, transmitting from a luxury apartment block not far from the French consulate. The building had no hallway cameras. Too convenient. Too deliberate. Traore gave the order, no noise, no uniforms. Operation Glass Eye was born. Watchers were placed around the building, fruit sellers, delivery men, cleaners. Tiny cameras were hidden in ventilation grills. Microphones planted under welcome mats. 3 days passed. On the 3rd night, they saw him. Tall. Pale-skinned. Sharp-jawed. Always wearing dark glasses, even in dim light. He never took the same exit twice. He never drove the same vehicle twice. But even cautious men make mistakes. He ordered food. Captain Zongo delivered the meal himself, dressed as a delivery man, a hidden recorder in the bag. The man spoke only 2 words at the door: "Thank you." It was enough. Voice analysis confirmed it: Alexander Morel. A retired French intelligence officer. Officially out of service. Unofficially deeply entangled in West African intrigue. The Jackal had a face. And he was walking Burkina Faso streets. A direct arrest was impossible. Too much risk of diplomatic scandal. Too many eyes that might see. President Traore thought carefully. "We will not seize him like soldiers," he said. "We will lure him like hunters." A private dinner was announced, important guests, high-level decisions, discreet whispers planted in the right ears. The Jackal heard. He moved. At the dinner, every plate, every glass, every piece of cutlery had been inspected. The kitchen was staffed by intelligence officers posing as chefs. At precisely 7:30 p.m., the guests arrived. 4 loyal men, no more and no less. Then, amid the controlled atmosphere, the new waiter appeared. Zongo noticed immediately. "That's not our man," he whispered into his communicator. The cameras zoomed in. The waiter moved carefully, too carefully. His right hand trembled ever so slightly. President Traore picked up his glass, but he did not drink. Instead, he looked directly at the waiter. "Would you care to share a drink with your president?" he asked, smiling. The man hesitated. That was enough. Guards burst forward. The Jackal tried to reach into his sleeve for a hidden poison-tipped pin, but Zongo was faster. In moments, Alexander Morel was pinned to the floor, furious but defeated. No grand speech was given. No photographers were summoned. The Jackal disappeared that night into a cell so deep that even the jackals of the desert would not find him. The next morning, Traore stood before the young cadets of the National Military Academy. In his hand, the same ceramic cup. Washed clean. But still heavy with memory. He spoke without notes. "You think power comes from this uniform," he said, his voice steady. "You are wrong. Power comes from loyalty. Power comes from vigilance. Power comes from knowing that trust, once broken, can kill faster than any bullet." He placed the cup on a pedestal beside the Academy's flag. "A simple cup," he said, "saved my life. Because I chose caution over pride." The cadets saluted, some with tears in their eyes. As the sun set over Ouagadougou, President Traoré sat once again in his office, the windows open to the soft evening breeze. He knew there would be other plots, other jackals, other poisoned cups. But he also knew something deeper: the lion may drink from the stream, but he always watches for the crocodile first. And when the hunters came again, they would find the lion waiting. Not afraid, not foolish, but ready. Always ready. Break time equals English Kenya /.